Hey everyone, my name is Brandon Robbins, and this week we're going to talk about whether or not churches should stay online after the coronavirus ends. You know, the coronavirus has made many churches have to do something they never thought they'd have to do: go online. Maybe they didn't have the equipment or the skills or resources. Maybe they didn't feel like their church was ready for that kind of leap. Maybe they didn't even think it was the right thing to do. They didn't feel like churches should be online. But when the coronavirus hit, we all kind of realized it was that or nothing. But what matters here is that we've realized the importance of having an online presence. In fact, some churches have seen that they've been able to reach more people since going online. People who worked on Sundays, people who weren't able to make it into church and couldn't cover the distance, people who'd moved too far away and couldn't come back, some people who just didn't even feel comfortable walking into a church. And because the church moved online, now these people can connect. Right? They're giving their life to Christ. They're changing the way that they treat their families and their children and the people around them. They're changing what they live for and how they live. It's amazing. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that church online is a substitute for in-person connection. There are things that God does when we come together that just can't be replicated online. But in the same way, there are things that God can do through our online presence that God might never do when we come together in person. And so what we realize is that if your church doesn't have an online presence, then you're actually limiting the reach that God can have through your church. And so the question that I want to talk about today is, how does your church begin to have an online presence? And more importantly, how do you do it well? Now, in just a moment, I'm actually going to give you 5 best practices for your church's online presence. But before I do, if you haven't done so already, please take a moment right now and click that subscribe button below. And then while you're down there, click that little notification bell so you get notified each week when we put out new videos. Each and every week, we're putting out videos to help you to grow your church and to grow in your relationship with Jesus. Now, what I want to clarify real quick is what I mean when I say online presence, right? Because this can be a lot of things. It can be your website. It can be your social media posts. It can be weekly videos like this one. It can be online worship services or even small group connection tools online. It can be a variety of things. But the main thing to remember about an online presence is that an online presence is something that uses the power of the internet to connect people and to connect with people. And for our purposes today, what we're really going to focus on are those ways we do that by video, whether that is online worship services or videos like this. And when it comes to producing online video content, there's actually 5 practices that will help you to do this really well. The first important practice is to have high quality sound. One of the important things to remember about sound is that it doesn't have to be expensive. Right? You can get a condenser mic on Amazon for like $50. In fact, that's what I use right here. It's about this big, it's easy to move around, and it makes a huge difference. And quality like this is important, right? It's the difference between being able to sound like you're right here in the room with me and using the microphone on the camera where it sounds like you're in a warehouse somewhere miles away from me. Microphones like this allow you to cut out the background noise and make sure you have a crisp, clean sound that allows your message to get across. The next important practice is to have simple, intimate video. And this is another one of those places where it does not have to be expensive, right? You don't have to purchase a $10,000 video camera just to post videos online. In fact, there are YouTubers out there with millions of followers who simply use their iPhones. And that's a really good place to start, right? They're accessible, most people have them, and they have great quality video. And if you use your iPhone or a similar smartphone, then all you need to buy right now is a tripod and an adapter so it can hold that phone and take videos of you. And in the end, it's not so much important what you film with, but how you film yourself. Because you see, when posting videos online, another important thing to know is that intimacy is key. You don't want to film your sermon from way back in the sanctuary. And you don't want tons of dead space for videos like this. When you have the barrier of physical separation, you need to be able to create intimacy. Right? People want to feel close. They want to feel connected to you. And the way that you frame your video is something that will help you to do that. A third best practice to have is adequate lighting. Bad lighting can take a 4K quality video and make it look like what you used to see on the screen of your parents' gigantic television. You know, the one that came in the big wooden case that weighed like 700 pounds and had razor sharp corners so you would never be tempted to move it. You know what I'm talking about. Well, by just using good lighting, you can turn a grainy, pixelated picture into something incredibly high definition. And when it comes to lighting, you have lots of options. Right? You can get studio lights like this on Amazon for less than $100. You can grab a bunch of lamps and take the shades off and place them in different positions to get the right kind of light. Or just find a really good bald dude and just shine the light off his head. The easiest option, though, is to just try to find ways to use natural light. Right? Be near an open window or go stand outside when you film to take advantage of all the incredible light you get from the sun. Now, the good news is that fancier cameras will allow you to adjust settings to make sure you can optimize the amount of light that comes into the camera. And things like iPhones actually do a great job of just automatically doing this for you. The point is to make sure you give the camera as much light as possible to give you the best looking image. Best practice number 4 is really important, and it's that content is king. All the video and audio stuff is great, but in the end, it's mostly just icing, right? Because your content is the cake. You can get away with mediocre video and audio, but if you don't have good content, nobody's going to watch. So spend the bulk of your time creating good content, right? Ask people what they want to see. Ask them what problems they're facing and what challenges they need resolved. Go around and look at other videos that you can find on YouTube and online to see what people are interested in. And then once you've got your idea, write out your script. Put down on paper exactly what you're going to say. Don't spend lots of time on stories and transitions, but get directly to the point. The average attention span gets shorter each and every day. Right? There's actually a good chance you've already checked out of this video. I know I have. So plan what you want to say, get to the point, and get there quickly. And then best practice number 5 is connect, connect, connect. When it comes to taking your church online, you're going to spend a lot of your time creating content. But I truly believe that content is really not all that useful unless you can also connect people. I mean, think about it. We live in a world of consumerism, right? We love to consume. We consume energy, we consume resources, we consume foods that make us gain weight, and then we consume pills that make us lose weight. And one of the things that we consume most of all is content. Each day, people consume millions and millions of hours of content. And if all we do is just give them more content to consume, then not only are they going to eventually lose interest and go somewhere else, but we're probably not going to help them grow in their relationship with Jesus either. I mean, do you ever wonder why Jesus so often told people to keep it a secret when he performed a miracle? It's because he knew that if that's all they knew about him, then they would just come to consume what he had to offer. But Jesus didn't want just consumers. He wanted a relationship with people. And when it comes to your church's online presence, your goal always has to be to connect. Connect people with next steps that will help them to grow in their faith. Connect them with opportunities to be in online small groups and connect with each other. Connect them with ways that they can serve and really grow into the image of a disciple. But no matter what you do, connect, 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 connect. Because in the end, that's really what God put us here to do. Right? To make disciples and to connect people with Jesus and with the family of God. I mean, that's what your church has always been trying to do when you've met in person. Right? It's why you built a social hall. It's why you built a welcome center, to help people to connect. And now God is opening the door for you to do that online as well. I mean, we live in an amazing time right now with amazing opportunities. The question is, are we going to go through the doors that God's opening? Well, in the comment section below, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Right? What is your church's online presence like? What questions do you still have about how to do this well? And most importantly, how can you help? Right? So often this sort of thing falls on the hands of just a few people. And so what are some ways that you're going to reach out and try to help with this ministry of your church? Well, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, please go down below and click that thumbs up to say that you liked the video. And while you're down there, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you make sure to get these videos each week when we put them out. Have a great week. God bless, and we'll see you next time.